Equifax, the credit consumer reporting company, has started to fire employees in which they've found that are working multiple jobs. In other words, they've been using a software and they've been able to check different companies' payrolls and firing people that work for them that also are working for other companies. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it's crazy. I didn't even know that many people were actually picking up, a second job or working multiple jobs at the same time. I know that definitely became a thing, like during the pandemic, where people were like, "Oh, like I'm working from home now. I have a bunch of extra time. Let me just go ahead and get a second job." But like, I didn't know people were still doing that today, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, well, I think that it's kind of crazy. You said they were spying on them?
Yeah, so essentially there's this software that Equifax is using called the Work Number, in which they've been able to track about 2.5 million companies' payrolls, and they've been able to see if there's any crossings between their employees and if they work for other companies. And I think they found more than 20 people already that are not only getting paid from them, but also from other companies, and they've just started to fire them.
I honestly think that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, as long as you get your stuff done at work and you're getting the stuff done for Equifax, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make other income. As long as they didn't have an agreement set across in the first place, like, oh, you're only allowed to work at Equifax, and you got, like, here's why. Basically, if people aren't satisfied with what they're getting working at Equifax, they wouldn't have to go find other jobs and seek other sources of income.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same wave with you. It's really just like, as long as you're getting everything that you need to get done here at Equifax, then if you want to do something else, you're more than welcome to. But I don't know if you try to look at it from Equifax's side, what do you guys? What's the kind of reasoning there where you're like, hey, like we need to get rid of all these people that are working two jobs?
I think it ultimately stems from, because I don't know if it's someone from like just the head of the company at like the base level of like the top of Equifax, but I think it's more individualized, right? So it's like if there's someone in charge of those people who are working multiple jobs, I think if they're being efficient at what they're doing, like you guys have already said, if you're getting all you need to get done, you're showing up, you're being prompt, and you're being an efficient employee, then I don't think it really matters. Yeah. But I think it's probably more individualized, like person by person. Maybe there were some people that were enrolled or working for another company, and they just weren't getting the output out of them. So that I can understand. But I think just to like fire someone for having a side hustle or for trying to work another job, like you said, the pandemic, the economy's tanking, we're in a rough spot right now. I don't think that people should be penalized and fired for that.
Would you guys work a second job?
Yeah.
On the main one? You guys just have two full-time main jobs. Would you guys do that or no?
I mean, it depends if like my output is going to be the same for both of them, or at least like the one that pays more, my output is going to be just fine. Then yeah, sure. Why not make some extra income? Why not grind?
I'm just curious. What do they do if they have a meeting at the same time? You have two like team meetings at 10 a.m. Like what do you do?
Yeah. Well,
that's where it becomes a conflict of interest, and if that's the case, then you probably shouldn't be working that second job. You would need to try to find something that kind of lines up with your schedule to make sure that you can do both successfully. My biggest thing that's coming out of the story that I think we haven't talked about yet is what's good with the privacy issue. Like what's good with them spying on their employees' privacy like this? There could be a huge lawsuit that comes out about this, especially if if they were able to rally enough troops to the people that got fired and really press a lawsuit of like, why are you spying on what I'm doing outside of the company? As long as there's not an agreement in there that this is the only form of employment that you can obtain.
Yeah, and this software that they're using, I want to know how they got access to the payroll of all these different companies throughout the country.
Well, it's Equifax. It's a credit reporting company.
Right.
So, yeah.
It makes sense, but at the same time, it's crazy that like those payrolls were that accessible.
Well, yeah, it's using the data that they should be using to.
Like client data should be completely separate from company data.
Exactly. So like they shouldn't be infringing upon that client data to be able to cross-check and use that against their employees in their company. So I think that there could be a major lawsuit. I'm sure we'll be talking about this on another episode.